who is here with us at Centro Botín. We are going to be visiting the exhibition of Damián Ortega. And, well, we are here at the EUNICE Week, which we're doing with the University of Cantabria here at Centro Botín, which is an international art center, as some of you may know, in the city of Santander, Cantabria. The goal of Centro Botín is to develop the creativity of each visitor that comes through our doors, either here with us physically or virtually. So, yes, so we all know what we're going to watch, either through our screens or with our eyes. At Centro Botín, our exhibits are always trying to show us something new, something that we are going to be able to bring home with us to develop our daily creativity. So what we are going to see today is Damián Ortega's exhibition, which is called Visión Expandida, Expanded View. That is the first time, or you're going to be able to see in a unique opportunity for the first time, 9 of Damián Ortega's suspended artworks in the same room, or in the same museum room. So I hope that you enjoy it. And I hope that you enjoy it too. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat and someone will let me know. And if you have any questions at all, okay, you will let me know. And if you have...
You will need to speak louder later.
Okay. Yeah, so if you have any questions at all, yes, let me know. And first, before we begin, I just wanted to ask you if any of you knew who Damián Ortega is, or if you have visited our exhibits. No? Perfect. That's perfect too. I'll just give you a little bit of context. So Damián Ortega, he's a self-taught artist who was born in Mexico in 1967 and who created, as you will see, these 9 artworks that are suspended in the air. And you will also see that Damián Ortega really he was raised in a really curious family. He was surrounded by culture and by the arts since he was very young. And his mother, for example, was a teacher and at an alternative school, and his father was an actor. So he was really surrounded by this atmosphere of knowledge and curiosity. And then when he was really young, one of his hobbies, and you can see that he was showing a little bit of his artistic streak since his youth, was that he wanted to take objects that he found around his house and he took them apart. So, for example, a vacuum cleaner, and he will just pull it apart and sort it out by pieces with his brother, and then try to put it all back together, sometimes successfully, sometimes not so. But it is something that is important for you to keep in mind, because you're going to see this type of creativity inside the exhibition room. And also something you can keep in mind is that Damián Ortega really loved to show daily objects and the daily things that you might find in your daily life in a different way, in a different perspective. So you're going to see that today. Also, just enjoy it. Damián Ortega really has a quick wit and a quick irony and sense of humor, and I think you're going to be able to see it in this visit. So if you want to follow me, let's go. You can come in and just look around for a few seconds. You can walk around the car. I'll wait for you on the other side. You can come closer if you like. Yeah. Perfect, thank you. Do you hear me okay? Yeah? Well, here we have Cosmic Thing, one of Damián Ortega's first big bangs or first pieces of suspended artwork. What do you think? It's amazing, right? Yeah. So just so you have a little bit of context of Damián Ortega and his artistic practice, Damián Ortega began his life, his career as a cartoonist. So he drew for newspapers, for a political newspaper, some more like witty cartoons. Then, and he started doing that in the 80s. But then he joined a group led by Gabriel Orozco, an artist that you may know because he also taught a workshop at Fundación Botín some years ago here in Santander. And what he did in that workshop was he became involved in the artistic sphere and the diverse artistic sphere of Mexico. And he started to create sculptures, such as this one. You can see when I mentioned before that Damián Ortega liked to pull objects apart. Well, this is a great example. Do you know what type of car this is? Yeah. It is a Volkswagen Beetle. That was the car that Damián Ortega owned. It's not this particular car. In fact, Damián Ortega loved his car so much that he drove the Volkswagen Beetle until 2005. And this artwork is from 2002. So until 2005, he drew his car until it had to end his days. And I think at the beginning, when we were talking at the hall, there was a video. That video was showing the burial of his car. So he was deeply attached to his car. And here we have it, the same model, different car, all pulled in pieces, which is something that makes a lot of sense of what I have told you about Damián Ortega, not only because he was really curious, but also because he really loved this car and he wanted to fix it himself. So what he did was he had an instruction manual with an expanded view, that's the title of the exhibition, of his car, just like that, in the paper, on paper. And what he did, he created that instruction manual in real life. And then this was really well received in the 2003 Biennale in Venice, and it became an icon. And he became really well known for this artwork. But for him, it was a way of knowing his car, of getting to know his own car, because for Damián Ortega, art is a way of learning. You have any questions about this car? Do you have any questions about the artwork?
This car is very common in America, South America.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed. It is also, as you said, this artwork, it is a way of showing the democratization of consumption. Because in Mexico, it was the car that everybody had. And there was a cheaper model and a second market of pieces that people had like common knowledge of how you could use the different pieces. Do you want to move on? Let's go. For the people watching at home, we are now going to go through this artwork. Let's try to guess what it is. For everyone else, you can walk around. You can walk around. So for this, I need a volunteer. Anyone? Can I have a volunteer? It's just to see something. Thank you. Okay, so if you can stand right here. And if you can all tell me, we're going to help her a little bit because it was so nice to be the volunteer. If you could tell me a little bit what you have seen. What have you seen? Snakes. Could be. Snakes.
I agree.
Yeah, you saw snakes. Did somebody see something else that wasn't a snake? That's perfect. Could you stand right here and look down and tell me what you see?
An A.
An A. And there? Do you see that? You can come here if you want. An A, a B, a C. What you're seeing is the alphabet. This artwork is called Harvest, and it is talking about Damián Ortega's relationship with his mother tongue. So what you saw as snakes, are actually pieces of iron that are given the shape of different letters when you put the light on top of them. So you have the whole alphabet from A to Z just on the floor. I don't know if anybody at home got that. Maybe it was a little bit difficult through the camera, but here we have all the letters. It might seem easy at first, so I have something I would like you to try if you dare, which is for you to do one letter for me. Somebody want to do one letter? Maybe you? Do you want to do one letter for me?
I tried.
Thank you. I'll give you the light.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, do it like that. You can do it here if you want. Do you want to try to do the letter?
I'm thinking about doing a no.
You can try to do a no.
Okay.
You see? Okay, we see. Yeah, but you are doing a no with the.
I'm trying at least.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a no, but it is also a no with the string. So the difficult thing would be to do a no
Okay.
with the shadow, but not with the string.
Well, then, maybe it's not the best option. I try with an S. Let's see if it works.
It looks like an S. It can look like an S. Yeah?
More or less.
More or less like this. That's it, yeah. Thank you. If somebody else wants to try, you're free to do so. But it was more complicated than it looked, right? Let me turn off the flashlight.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Was it made with the help of a computer?
Yeah.
Did it made it with the help of a computer?
Oh, he obviously first made it with a different material before he tried it on iron, and then he had to obviously warm it up because these are the type of metal that is used when you build in construction, when you build buildings. So it is really hard to work on. So obviously he first made a draft before he went on the metal. And well, I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. First of all, I told you it is about mother tongue and the relationship with your mother tongue, because this is the calligraphy of Damián Ortega's mother. So he copied the letters that his mother does. So he asked his mother to write all the letters from A to Z, and then he copied those letters. So it is an extra step of difficulty. And well, it's called harvest because you can harvest all the letters to create everything, to create all the words. So it's a harvest. Should we go on? Let's wait for the others. Great. So now that we're all here, let's go to this other artwork, which is called Controller of the Universe. And this is an artwork you're going to see that Damián Ortega really liked to make us think about daily life, daily objects, and the arts. And also he wanted us to interact with the artwork. And this one in particular is an experience that I believe is best seen individually. So because we are many people here, what we're going to do is we are going to first let the people at home go in so they can go inside the artwork, and then I invite all of you to go in, see it from the inside while the others look around, and then little by little you go in and out while I explain. Okay? So people at home, please. Okay, so I'll let you see how it is. So you go inside, and then, yeah, so you're not afraid, you can do it. Perfect. Has someone not gone in yet? Perfect. If you can come a little bit closer. So how was it? How was the experience of going into the artwork?
I felt threatened.
Threatened?
Yeah, a bit nervous.
Yeah, it is. What made you feel nervous?
I mean, what not?
I mean, it is made out of sharp tools, so I understand. And well, what do you see? What do you think?
It all points to the center. All those objects are created in order to create more things. So maybe it has something to do with the name.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. I'll repeat it just in case the mic didn't get that. So it is true that all the objects point towards the center. So when you were in the middle, you were a little bit in control, right? Like the name, Controller of the Universe, points out. I like to think of myself or anyone who comes into the artwork as, you know, Edward Scissorhands, or maybe a superhero from Marvel or from the Matrix. It depends on the age and the reference that you want. But as someone who is in the middle, controlling all of these tools, with which you can do anything that you want. Because if you just grab one of those tools, you can suddenly fix a hole, or you can suddenly sharpen something or create anything, because you have all the objects, all the tools of the world at your disposal, right? Damián Ortega created this piece of artwork. I'm going to start taking things out of my bag now. You will see that I will be taking different things throughout the visit and show you the inspiration behind this piece. Okay. You can kind of see it, right? Is that all right? Yeah? Perfect. So this is a mural that was supposed to be shown at the Rockefeller Center. It's called Man at the Crossroads by Diego Rivera. And it shows a man in the middle of this globe of things that has to do with innovation, industry, progress. And it is a bit of the inspiration behind this artwork, this sculpture that Damián Ortega created. And Damián Ortega created it in Berlin in 2007 when he was undergoing a residency, an artistic residency. And he arrived at the middle of Berlin, 2007, had no materials, he had some, but not these many tools to create such a big sculpture. And what he did, he knew little German, almost no German. He wanted to know a little bit more about German culture, and what he did was he decided, and this is, I think, a really beautiful example in terms of the program and EUNICE Week, he decided to ask people for tools as a way to get to know them, get to know the language, get to know the culture. And he became friends with people who gave him tools and basically told him a little bit about them, what the tool was made for, how it was used, why they had that tool, and then he created the controller of the universe. So I think it's a great metaphor for today's EUNICE Week. And also something that you should know is that at every place that this artwork goes to, we add a different tool. So there's one tool here, you can guess if you want, that was added at Tendrobotin. They can also guess at home if they want. You can guess. It's impossible to know if you don't know it. Yeah, it's not that one. It could be. It is a little bit inside.
This one?
No, it's not. It could be. It's something that we had here laying around. Well, not laying around, but that someone here had it. I can tell you if you want. It was a hammer. You see? Yes, when we were building the exhibit.
Which hammer?
There you go. This one? Can you see it? You can come in if you want. Okay, I have that same game can be played in the next artwork. And I'm going to dare you to see things from a different perspective in a literal way here and lay down on the floor if you want. If you want, you can lay down on the floor. If not, you can go down and see. And tell me what you see. What do you see? Or what did you see?
No, I don't see anything particular.
You see Earth? Could be. The planet Earth, constellation. And what it is made? What is it made of?
Stones and pieces of metal.
Stone.
Tubes, metal tubes.
Metal tubes.
Minerals.
What else?
Glass. Plastic.
Plastic. Glass. Something else? There little bit of rubbish. No, sorry. Debris. Yeah. That's it completely. It's like tiny bits of rubbish, right? It's like tiny little bits that you could find in the street or in maybe in one of your drawers, and something that you would say, well, I'm going to throw this out. But for Damián Ortega, that wasn't what it was. It wasn't rubbish for him. It was something that he wanted to, he actually went looking for. He created this artwork first. He planned it first, and then he went to look for specific objects that could become this polvo estelar or stardust. Mm-hmm. So it was dust that became a star, right? The galaxy. And here we also have an object. I'm going to give you a really big hint. Yes. Here we also have an object that was something that we added. What was it? Yeah. We have a cap, a blue cap. So over there, you see it? Yeah.
But did you do it without his permission? I mean,
No. It is a completely different color. It looks like it, right? But no. He gave us permission.
Okay.
He was here for 2 weeks supervising everything. So yeah, no, we do not add things randomly to the artworks. But yeah, that is basically one of the ways that Damián Ortega really likes to think about his art. It's a way of showing the same things, everyday things, as I told you in the exhibition hall, in a completely different way and in a different perspective. So rubbish? No, it's stardust.
It's a bit like a comet.
It could be. Some children actually usually tell me it's an eye, that it's not a galaxy, it is an eye. It could be.
A what?
An eye.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Should we? You can also walk around. And for this one, let's see if you can guess what natural phenomenon Damián Ortega is talking about. A natural phenomenon. Eh? You said? Sorry? Someone said that. A volcano? A volcano? It is a volcano. It's a volcano that Damián Ortega created out of volcanic stones, which is tezontle from Mexico. The stones, the rocks that you can see in the volcano part of the volcano, and then glass, that is the explosion, right? I'm going to show you something. Little treasure. So here we have a volcanic, I'm going to show it at home and then I'll give it to you so you can, volcanic rock with little glass. You can touch it if you want. You can. And while you do that and look at the little glass and the stone, I'll tell you a little bit about the history behind this artwork, if that's okay. Yeah? So basically, Damián Ortega was at a friend's house who was having a little bit of a hard time. And he was there trying to cheer her up. And while he was doing that, her son was making a volcano out of clay. So he asked the child, the boy, would you like to see a volcano from the inside? And he said yes. And that was one of his ideas, to create this volcano, which we cannot actually go inside right now. But if the ceiling was higher, which in some of the museums that it has been exhibited was, you could actually go inside. And anyways, you can actually see how it is in the inside, even if we cannot go in. Yeah, it is tempting to just go and lay down. Any questions?
Did it take long to mount all this exhibition?
It did.
How long?
We had a time crunch because we have to change exhibits really fast because exhibits have to be open fast. So it only took 2 weeks. But for this specific artwork, for example, it took 4 days for 2 people to put this up. We have over 1,000 strings. Each string has 1 rock and 1 piece of glass. So it was just 4 days of continuous, non-stopping work of just putting this up.
But most of the exhibits have their own frames. The first one is to the ceiling of the. So you make holes just on the ceiling just for one artwork. The car
The car.
has holes on the ceiling.
Yes, but
The frame.
it is not a frame. It goes directly towards like the structure. Yes, but we also create walls and take down walls for exhibits. So yes. But yes, in this case, it has its own frame. I'm gonna take the rock back. Thank you. Let's go see something else. This is another journey, but this journey is towards a special place that you may know. Not personally, I hope, but it's a journey towards the center of the earth. So go in, please. And you can follow. Over here, I'm going to be showing you okay, well, you're still doing that, continue doing that, but over here I'm going to be showing you the materials that this has so you can touch them. So in the center we have glass. I'll give it to you. Then we have clay, ceramic. Then we have over there some volcanic rocks. Give one to you, and I'll give one to you. And then finally we have some Punic stone.
Pumice.
Punic.
What is the silvery part?
Yeah, silvery. Oh, sorry, I forgot to show you that. It's a thamac. It's a type of metal, a type of mix of metals that is really common in just toys, cars, electronics.
What's the name again?
Thamac.
Thamac.
It's a type of mix of metals.
What's the name?
Thamac.
Oh.
It's a type of mix of metals. It's just like one of the most common mixes that you can find almost everywhere. You can also pass it around. And well, does it remind you of your high school or middle school days? Yeah. When you finish, I'll pick it up. Thank you. I will show it to the camera maybe. Thank you. So we have the volcanic rock. We have the clay. We have the metal. Thank you, the glass. And the Punic stone over here, which was quite light, right? It was quite light. So are you ready for more? Let's go. Once again, I invite you to go and enjoy this artwork and go in. I'll wait for you on the other side. You can come all over here when you're finished. We'll wait for the others. And see towards the other side. So, how was it? What do you think this is? You're getting better at this, I think. You're now getting all of those. This one is a little bit more difficult than the volcano, but I know you got this. Anything? It could be a swimming pool, right? Why?
Because of the spheres.
Spheres?
It's like the one that we can see in the swimming pools.
Yeah, because of the spheres, right? Like the white spheres. It is kind of related. Not in a linear way, but you'll see. Any other guesses? Any guesses?
What is the molecular structure of something?
Okay,
Like a crystal.
okay, the molecular structure of something, like a crystal. Perfect. Rain, water. Right, look at the drops, right? There's drops over there. It's
Maybe the sea, because of the plumos.
maybe the sea, because of the little weights, right? It reminds you of fishing.
Can be
Could be.
plastic.
And the plastic, so maybe some.
It's not as clean as we wished. So maybe it has something to do.
Could be. It could be something like call for attention towards pollution at sea. Could be. It is actually the molecular structure of something. It is the molecular structure of water. So that's why we were all kind of there. What is the molecular structure of water? What's
H2O.
That's it. So, and what do we have here? We have tiny or smaller molecules and bigger ones. H2O. So, what Damián Ortega wanted to create was this wall of water, but it wasn't just any normal water. It was the experience that he had when he came, or when he went to Japan for an art festival, and he went into a factory that was abandoned, and that was the whole point of the art festival. They wanted to go into a city that had had some industries that had been abandoned, so people were living, And in order to promote tourism and people coming, what they did was they created an art festival. And he went inside the factory. He went in, and because the factory had been closed for a really long time, it was extremely humid. So he felt all this humidity in the air, and he decided to create an artwork with it. So I like to think that the little weights are there for a useful reason, because otherwise the balls would move. But they're also a little hint, right? Little raindrops. And it's the molecular structure of water. Also, taking another step, and because he is Mexican and he knows the Oaxacan mythology behind textiles and weaving, because this was a textile factory, he put the strings to remind us of more of like when you weave or when you create a garment, because that mythology talks about the union of the skies and the earth when you create this type of garments. So that's what he did. Any questions? Also back home?
Well, water isn't crystalline at all.
Mm-hmm. No.
You can't represent it by a crystal. Even ice, I think, is not a crystal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know the process of creation of these pieces? Like, does he design it on the internet first, on a software or something that designs, or how?
Yeah. So for this one, I know. Well, this one was done in 2018. The first one was done in 2002. The one that we saw in the car. So his process has been changing. And this one, I know that he had obviously to use mathematical equations in order to create these almost perfect hexagons, but I don't know his whole process. But I mean, he is here for this week, and next week he will be here in an exposition of the exhibit, so you can come and ask him then if you want. Perfect. And if you want, we can go to the next one. So this one is a space that is a little bit smaller. So if you want, you can go in, walk around a little bit, and then we'll talk about it outside, so we're not really crowded. Has anyone not gone in? Have you gone in? Do you want to go in?
maybe can be taken and read.
Yes, they can. So I'll explain something here. I think like this. We're a little bit in and out. Yeah, they're looking at books.
Damián Ortega? No. It's Yoko, I think.
So this room, alias, I think we can all fit in. Yes, can we? If not, we can move it outside. Can you come in? Okay. So this room, it's a piece of art and also a project that Damián Ortega has, a project made out of love and his love of literature and the word, and the Spanish language also, which is, we're doing this visit in English, but here all of these books are in Spanish because it was born because of a necessity. Damián Ortega, now he speaks English, but at the time he spoke little English, little to no English, and he wanted to read some books made by artists that weren't available in Spanish at the time in Mexico. So the book that started everything was this book, a book by Duchamp. And he wanted to read it because it was gifted to him, but it was gifted in English and he couldn't read it. So he asked a friend of his, well, he asked several friends of his to translate it for him. And they did, but they did it as friends do translation. It wasn't a professional translation. So they weren't actually going strictly proper, but there were some jokes and there were some Mexican expressions. He used to say, "We made Duchamp Mexican." So they introduced a lot of expressions and just like local expressions and more, like informal things. But he really liked it. And he decided to continue this project first with friends and then professionally of translating books more in a professional manner and more formal that were made by artists or explain things about artists that couldn't be found in Spanish. And that's what we have today, alias the editorial work. But he sees these pieces of art, these books, as sculptures, as pieces of art that can be used. So they are here in the exhibition for anyone to read. So we have had people that come here and sit here for 3 hours reading a book. You can definitely do that. That is the correct way of using this room. But for him, it is art. It is not just a book. It is a sculpture. Should we?
Sorry for the late. Is there any specific reason why he chose to start with Duchamp?
Yeah, it was the book that was gifted to him by Gabriel Orozco. Remember I told you that he joined, they gave him that book and they said, you will find this interesting. And he wanted to read it, but he couldn't understand it. So that's why he started with that one.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go right ahead. This one is easy to translate, as it is in English. It's called HLD, high, long, deep. And well, I wanted to ask you one question. How many chairs are there?
3.
3, 2, do you want to vote? 3? 3? 3? Yes, there are 3. 3 chairs, just as there are 3 planes or 3, like the height, the length, and the deepness. So it's the 3 different planes that go into one to create a chair, which is an object that we see every day and that we use every day. But Damián Ortega wanted to talk about the discovery or the luck that was involved in the creation of a chair. How these 3 different angles just joined in the perfect way by someone, obviously, not randomly in nature, but by someone, to create this object. And if we take the word angles or long depth, long, high, and we think about people, it is a beautiful metaphor about life also. How luck or something sometimes just goes into the correct way to have something that we use every day. We have one last piece. Follow me, please. It's okay. It stopped. It's okay. We can ask Annabelle for a performance, maybe. Thank you. You can look around. So what do you think? What is this?
It's a boat on a sea animal.
It's a boat or a sea animal? It's a submarine? It is submarine. It is. It's fake. It's full of something that we don't know what it is. It's full of these. It's full of this. Put the camera. It's full of this.
Salt?
Salt.
It's salt.
That's salt.
That's salt. I'll go. It's full of these, if you want to see it. Touch it. Salt. You want to touch it? You can. Salt. 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 So why do we have a submarine full of salt? That is little by little falling to the ground and creating a mountain of salt. Sorry. So,
Makes you float.
Okay, it could be, because salt makes it float.
Salt in the water increases the floatability.
Thinking of salted waters, right? Could be. For Damián Ortega, this was a moment where three things that he had in mind clicked. So he had three different things that he had seen or read or just heard of, and then everything clicked into this piece of artwork. So first of all, he was thinking about a book by Joseph Conrad called The Heart of Darkness. I don't know if you have read it. Yes. Yes. It talks about many things, but one of the things that it talks about is about the exploitation of natural resources. You can see that this submarine is made out of bags, and those bags have some letters on them. It says sugar, it says flour. So different natural resources that sometimes the market law, which is the name of the artwork, it is called hollow stuff market law. So sometimes the market law can make it possible for people in general to exploit and overexploit natural resources. So that was one of the things. There are two things remaining. The other one was salt. It's like cocaine, not like it is like in real life, but for him, he's using salt to represent cocaine because he's really worried about the hard war that Mexico is waging against cocaine and narcotraffic. So that was something that he